I like clever, and today we're gonna go over 3 clever ways to use a monopod you might not have thought about before. And I'm super stoked that today's video is sponsored by iFootage, the maker of the Cobra 2 C180 Mark II carbon fiber monopod. This thing's kind of amazing. 5-star review on B&H Photo, and Gerald Dunn even said it might be the perfect monopod. And like I said before, Gerald Dunn, he finds something wrong with everything, and he couldn't find anything wrong with this. That's pretty impressive. I got the 70.9 inch version. So this thing, it folds down to 31 inches, but then when fully extended, it goes up to 70.9 inches. But I also have, look how tall that thing is. But then again, when folded down, it breaks down to 31 inches in its collapsed form, although I do have the Komodo K5 video head on here. This is just gonna give me some panning ability, some better tilting ability. So if you add that on there, I think I get 74 inches on the high end and 34 inches on that low end. But then without that, you can just mount it straight to the monopod and you're at 70 inches on the high end and 31 inches on the low end. Now, if you ask videographers what tool they couldn't do their job without, besides a camera, obviously, 9 out of 10 times you're gonna hear monopod. I like monopods more than gimbals, more than tripods, more than any kind of other device, because it gives you kind of that handheld feel, like a handheld shot. There's a bit of motion, tiny bit of kind of movement that gives energy to the shot more than like a static tripod locked off shot. But with a monopod, you just get really good results. So it's a handheld shot, but a really, really good handheld shot. It's almost like when you're shooting handheld and then you lean on a table and you get your hands down here and you go, ooh, I am so much more stable like this. That's basically what you're doing with a monopod. With a monopod, you're just giving yourself a spot where basically you're having the camera and it's resting on it. You're pinned to the ground. You have a point of stability that is the ground, and then boom, you're locked off. And again, with monopods, the key is that there is still a bit of motion in the image. It's not perfectly locked off like a static tripod, although with this one, you really can get it. I could just stand here like this, and I really would have a static tripod shot. Although, don't walk away from your monopod. It is not a tripod, even though, whoa, too long. Even though you've got those tripod feet on there, and yes, it is quite stable. My camera is still up here. Camera, boom. It is very stable. It's not a tripod. It's not that stable. So the idea is, yes, you can just kind of hold it like this. You can also unscrew this bottom bit so that I can have a lot of movement. I can like look around. I can do a lot of panning and moving the camera, and I still have that really solid base on the ground with 3 points of contact on the ground like that. It's not that stable. It's not a tripod. So don't walk away from it. I see videographers do it all the time, and their cameras, they get knocked over. And it's sad. It's a bummer because they bought a monopod thinking it was a tripod. Okay, so monopods are great. They are my favorite filmmaking tool, but what are my 3 clever ways to use a monopod? And the first one up is inverted.
Well, if you were directly above him, how could you see him?
Because I was inverted. Bullshit.
Now you'll see people do this with a GoPro all the time. People will take a GoPro on a selfie stick and they hold it upside, let me get a little angle to this. They'll hold it upside down like this so they can get their camera super low to the ground and then create movement like that. Use it as a stick to get a little bit more stability, but get the camera super low to the ground. Really cool for like follow shots, or if you don't like a tracking side shot, like someone's walking like this and you're super low on the ground walking like this with your monopod, you're doing the ninja walk. Inverted it's an awesome shot. And it's such a cool angle because it's one that we don't see a lot. Anytime you can bring in a shot that isn't normally seen with the human eye, it looks cool because most of you aren't laying on the ground when you're watching someone walk towards you. And then with this inverted shot, if you can then add in something like a skateboard or a one wheel or rollerblades, then you can get these really long, really cool shots where the camera is just super low to the ground and flowing super smooth. You don't see any footsteps at all. Inverted. Clever way to use your monopod. Number 1, Tip number 2 that I've done with monopods a ton in the past, and this monopod actually offers a very clever way to do this, but using your monopod as a boom pole for a microphone. Now, traditionally, we would take a monopod, and this end of the monopod, the heavy end that has the quick release, we would screw that into a microphone, and then you would boom this whole thing out so it's way over a subject, and you're out here holding the skinny end while the heavy end is over there. Oh, by the way, the end that has a grip is way over there with the microphone over your subject. And the clever thing that iFootage did was, one, the tripod foot part and the head are both on quick releases, so I can just pop them off, and now I'm down to this. But check this out. You see that end there? That has a 3/8 inch thread in the skinny side of the monopod, which is genius, because then I take a 3/8 inch to 3/8 inch adapter, I screw that bit in there, then I could take something like a Rode VideoMic Pro and screw that in, and then I'm extending the skinny part of the monopod out while I hold the big part, the part with the grip. But the idea is you use this as a boom pole. You can hold this out over your subject, boom into a really good spot, get a really good audio pickup. Then if you take something like this, you add on something like the Rode Wireless Go system where this now plugs into the transceiver. You mount the transceiver out here. Now this becomes a wireless audio boom pole. So you have the receiver on your camera, the transceiver out here mounted, and now you could have someone else walking around booming your audio and it's filming directly into your camera. Monopod as a boom pole. Clever way to use a monopod number 2. And lastly, and my favorite trick to do with a monopod, and this is because I have to do this a lot at Morgan's shows. So a lot of times at Morgan's shows, I'm in the crowd. I have to be in the audience to get that view. There's 1,000 people all around me, and you know, it's hard to get the camera up above everybody. Now this monopod does make that a little bit easier because it goes fairly tall. Again, this thing, once I have the head on there, my camera's up top, look how I can get the camera solidly above most people's head, but if there's like, you know, a couple tall dudes in front of me, this is not tall enough. I need it to be taller. So what you see a lot of people end up doing is they hold their monopods up, way up in the air, and they just kind of hold them with 2 hands and they float it out here, and it's always a little wonky. It's good because it's on a monopod, but it's usually swaying quite a bit. You see a lot of movement. So here's your clever tip. Only gonna boom the monopod to about half of the length that it could boom to, and then I can actually fold down these bottom feet. And when I fold them down, I'm gonna take these 2 feet and I'm gonna put them inside of my belt. So they're actually inside my pants. And now this whole thing is resting on my belt. Look, you can't even, it's too tall for this shot. So now the monopod is actually in my pants, resting on my belt. My belt is taking all of its weight. I can sit there, hold it up above a crowd like this, and I can hold a steady shot for a really long time because again, I'm not holding the weight. I'm not sitting there holding this thing and my arms are getting tired and it's swaying back and forth. I've got the monopod tucked into my pants like this, and I'm just kind of standing there, and I could boom this thing way the heck up. I could be 8 feet in the air if I wanted to, as high as I want, but I'm using my belt to give me that extra height on the monopod, and it's still super, super stable. Super high shots, really steady. Put the monopod in your pants. Okay, and then I have one more bonus tip for you guys, and it's only because I have this iFootage Cobra 2. And basically what this thing has is a quick release on the bottom. I go bink, and that little tripod feet pops off just like that. Then this top piece, the quick release plate with my camera and the whole head system and the monopod separate just like this. And boom, I can actually remove the monopod from the equation here. Pop the head down onto here, like here, and boom, I have a tabletop tripod. It's super stable now, because now it's not so top heavy, so now it has a lot more stability, and I can unhook these, and I have a panable, tiltable tabletop tripod anywhere that I'm at. So instead of bringing a full-size tripod, I could just take this, put it up on top of the top of a wall or something like that, or on a rock, and just sit there and be like, boom, I have a tiltable, panable tripod with with my monopod at all times. Because there's a quick release blade on the bottom and a quick release on top. And that's one of the many reasons why this monopod has gotten such good reviews online, is there's just so many ways to use it. It's so dang stable. It's super lightweight for a monopod of this size. This thing is awesome. Thank you so much to iFootage for sponsoring this video, but mainly thanks for sending this thing over. I've really been wanting it for a long time. Ever since I saw it, started winning a bunch of awards online. It got a ton of press. Again, Gerald Undone did a whole video where he called it the perfect monopod, and I love monopods. So to have the perfect monopod, that's what I wanted. Thanks, iFootage. Super impressive. If you guys want to check this thing out, first link in the description, but I will say there is two sizes. There's a 47.9 inch, I think it is. Where's my notes here? There's a 47.2 inch version and a 70 point, this is the 70.9. And again, it gets ridiculously tall, much taller than I am. And while it might seem like maybe you should go for the small monopod, why do you need that much length? Well, the small monopod, when collapsed, is 6 inches shorter. So it's 6 inches smaller in that collapsed position. But when this thing extends, this one goes over 20 inches longer. So this is 6 inches longer on the short end, but it's 20 inches longer on the long end. For almost everybody, I recommend the 70.9 inch. I recommend the larger monopod. It's just, when you need that extra length and then you don't have it, that's really when you're gonna sit there and kick yourself. Hopefully this video got you guys better monopod shots. Hopefully it helps you boom audio better, and now you'll be the guy at the concert with the monopod in his pants. If this video did help you guys, hit that like button. It helps me a ton. And try hard, take chances. I'll see you guys soon.